Thank you so much for joining me back here. Today, we're gonna do kind of a more casual video. Today, I want to talk about The Queen of Nothing, all right? I'm using the dust jacket as my bookmark, but The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. I have already read this. I have read the series. I read it when I first started BookTube, really, is when I think that The Wicked King had just come out, and so I came into it in the middle of the series where there was still some hype around it and excitement, you know, that sort of thing. And I really like the first two books. I really like The Cruel Prince. The Wicked King is my favorite in the series. And so since I was kind of diving into the series during all of that hype, when The Queen of Nothing was announced and it was getting ready to come out, it was my most anticipated release of that year. I was so excited for it. Everybody raved about it on BookTube who read it very quickly. You know, I don't read books like the day they come out. I just don't have the time to do that. But everybody raved about it. Everybody said it was so good. And then when I finally got around to reading it, I was a little disappointed, honestly. The ending was kind of weird to me. The thing with the snake. Clever, I guess, because of, I don't know if it's a prophecy, if it's, I don't remember exactly what it is. What, you know, the riddle, whatever, was clever, but a little weird. I don't know. I recently mentioned this book in a video where I talked about books that I don't know how to feel about, because I really don't know how to feel about this book. I am this far through, I'm about halfway through it right now, and I'm really enjoying it. I enjoy most of this book, most of this series. The ending is what gets me, and so I am rereading them to see if my feelings change. I have already reread the first two, The Cruel Prince and The Wicked King. I listened to those on audiobook. I listened to about half of this one on audiobook as well, but my hold ran out on Libby, so I've switched to my physical copy for me to read from and continue on with, and I am excited to see if my feelings change or if this is just one of those books where the ending just was weird to me that I didn't get, and turns out I don't like. So we will see how it goes. Again, I'm halfway through it right now. I'm on page 160. Let me just say, this is not a spoiler-free video. I fully intend to talk about my thoughts on this book, where I'm at in the process, in the story, in the plot, different thoughts I might have about the different plot elements that are going on. So if you haven't read this book yet, and you haven't read the series yet, this is the third book, this is the last book. I suggest not watching this video if you do not want spoilers. I'm on book 2, so I am on page, what did I say, 160. And Jude has just gotten back with Cardan. So at the beginning of the book, she is exiled, she's in the human world, the regular world. Taryn comes and asks her to pretend to be her. Taryn is her twin. While she's back in fairy world, fairyland, whatever you want to call it, Madoc, her adopted father who killed her parents, steals her away thinking that she is Taryn and thinking that he is saving his daughter that has been loyal to him, whereas Jude has not. And then Cardan and some of the other helpers within the court come and try to rescue her, basically. So now she has made her way back to Cardan. They are currently in the gardens talking about, he's explaining what his plan was and how clever it was and how Jude just didn't get it when he said that only the crown could pardon her. She could pardon herself because she is queen at this point, and she did not put that together. And he's explaining that to her, like, hey, like, yeah, I tricked everybody, but like, you were welcome to come back whenever you want. So far, like I said before, I'm digging it. I like the first half of this book. The ending is what kind of throws me for a loop and I don't really get. At least I didn't the first time. So I'm giving this book a second chance. This is me giving it a second chance. I'm rereading it. I'm kind of going into it with an open mind. I don't want to dislike this book. I want to like this book. I want to like it. I I just didn't the first time. So hopefully I'll like it better this time. Again, this is more casual. We'll see. I currently have my laptop right here. I'm still not reading. I'm gonna play The Sims. While my son is napping. I have it loading because it's taking forever. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to read. I'm going to go play The Sims. Because the Cottage Living pack came out, and that is right up my alley. What is it called? Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley, that vibe. Like, you know, the farmer vibe, that kind of game. I'm with it. I'm into it. So this pack is for me. I feel like they made it just for me. Anyways, it's enough rambling. I'm rereading this. That's what this video is about. I'm rereading this. Okay, I finished last night. No, 2 nights ago? Last night? I can't remember. Oh man, pregnancy brain, guys. Anyways, I finished it regardless of when I did so. And just I'm going to get into more details, but just as a general, I will say that I think my opinion has changed. And I'm glad I gave it a second chance. I definitely think this read was benefited because it was a reread and I knew what to expect. I feel like a lot of the times that's not the case. A lot of the times when you reread something, it kind of detracts from it because you already know what's going to happen. It takes away that excitement factor, all that kind of stuff. But I do think that having read this already kind of changed my expectations a little bit. And therefore I was able to enjoy it a little bit more. In my head, I wasn't anticipating anything really. You know, when you read something for the first time, especially towards the end of a series, you have expectations not only for like characters and character development, but for plot and those kinds of things. Whether it's intentional or not, we just naturally have those kind of expectations when you're invested in a series. And since I already knew what was happening, I didn't have those this time. So yes, my opinion has changed slightly. I definitely liked it a lot better this time around than I did the first time. So I'm glad I gave it a second chance. Couple of specifics I wanted to mention. First of all, I didn't remember the fact that Matic was kind of exiled instead of whatever. Really, I had just forgotten what happened to him in general. So yeah, I did not remember that he was exiled, which I thought is anticlimactic the word? Maybe not. I don't know. Not completely satisfying. I do understand that it kind of shows a part of Jude's character growth where she shows mercy instead of just being ruthless all of the time. I get it. It just wasn't completely satisfying to me. The other big, is it a gripe? I don't know what you would call it. Gripe is too heavy of a word, I think, because I don't hate it, but something that I'm just like, Cardin's feelings for Jude, I feel like just take a big shift in this book. He goes from, in the first book, he acts like he absolutely hates her and despises her and thinks she's disgusting, to the second book where he kind of just tolerates her with a little bit of other stuff in between. I don't know. I don't want to call it insta-love because it's not. There is an arc there from the first book to this one. But it's just like all of a sudden he's gung-ho, hey, I'm in love with you type of thing. And given what we know of his character from the first 2 books, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that it fits his character to change that drastically that quickly. Maybe the same could be said for Jude too. I don't know. I'm not against their relationship by any means. I still ship it. There's just something about it that feels a little off for me. Maybe I'm the only one that feels that way, because I know a lot of people love Jude and Cardan together. But yeah, it's just a little off for me for some reason. Something about it. And I kind of thought it was the Cardan thing, but thinking through it right now, I don't know that it is. I can't pinpoint what it is, but something about their relationship is off when I read it. I did enjoy the curse a little bit more this time. Again, I think because I knew what to expect the first time reading through this book, I was kind of taken aback by it. I was not expecting that to be how this went at all, because Cardan is kind of taken from the story like a little over halfway through, because he's a snake, right? So like he can't talk or be present or show his personality or anything like that. So the fact that he was taken from us in the final book of the series was a little shocking to me the first reread through. I think is maybe why it was not received as well by myself the first time through. This time though, like I say, I was expecting it. I knew what was going to happen, and so I was able to not prepare myself, but to just kind of accept it for what it was and enjoy the other story elements a little bit more. So yeah, that's all I really have to say, I think. I'm glad I gave it a second chance, and yes, my mind has changed. Is it perfect? No. Is it one of my favorite series? No. Will I reread it again? Maybe. Maybe eventually. Not anytime soon. Maybe years down the road I'll reread it again. I do plan to keep it on my shelf, which is something, because I've started keeping books that I actually enjoy and want displayed on my bookshelf instead of just keeping absolutely everything I've read. So it's good enough to be on my shelf, but it's not one of my new favorites. You know what I'm saying? New favorites. It's not one of my favorites because it's not new to me. This is a reread. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on the Queen of Nothing, if you've given it a second chance or not. If you haven't, I'm not going to sit here and outright encourage you to do so, because it's just not going to be for everybody. But I am glad I gave it a second chance. My mind has changed a little bit. I enjoyed it a lot more the second time through. Otherwise, let me know what books you have given a second chance. What made you give it a second chance? Did your mind change the second time around? I'm curious. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to subscribe down below and leave a comment. You guys are awesome. I am so thankful for you. And we'll be back here next time, guys. See ya!